The movie opens in 1999, presenting four inseparable friends in their senior year of high school: Jim, Kevin, Finch, and Oz. Jim is a socially awkward individual with little experience in love, often facing unwarranted judgments from his parents. Kevin, on the other hand, is self-assured and charismatic, maintaining a steady relationship with his girlfriend, Vicky. Finch is an elegant individual who takes pleasure in sipping cappuccinos. Oz is a laid-back member of the school's lacrosse team. The four friends share a common trait: they are all novices in love and remain virgins. One day at school, Steve extends an invitation to the four friends to one of his parties, and Oz assures him of their attendance. Subsequently, we find the friends at a diner, meticulously focusing on their personal hygiene in anticipation of the party, driven by their eagerness to interact with the girls present there. At the party, each of the four friends tried their luck with different girls, but their success was minimal. Jim makes an effort to converse with an exchange student named Nadia, but his attempt falls flat. Oz faces humiliation at the hands of an older college girl, while Finch arrives too late for the party. Kevin shares a close moment with Vicky, but his joy is short-lived as she overhears him complaining about it to Jim and immediately ends their relationship. The following morning, the four friends woke up feeling miserable and hungover. They are surprised to see their geeky friend Chuck Sherman saying goodbye to a beautiful girl. They are stunned and upset when he tells them that he had been intimate with her the previous night. Kevin, feeling determined, makes a bold declaration. He proposes that they all make a promise to each other to lose their virginity before their high school prom and graduation. Later on, while having breakfast at a diner, they raise a toast to the next step, and each of them starts to devise their own strategies to fulfill their pact. Kevin, for his part, immediately begins his efforts to win back his ex-girlfriend, Vicky. He realizes that it's not going to be easy and starts seeking advice from others. Vicky's best friend Jessica reveals to Kevin that, despite his thinking otherwise, Vicky has never felt an orgasm from Kevin and that he has to work on that above everything else. His older brother Tom then passes on to Kevin the secret of the Bible, a manual of love and passion compiled by various East Great Falls students over several decades. Both Jessica and Tom divulge their advice only after Kevin stresses that he wants to make Vicky happy rather than simply taking advantage of her for his pact. In an attempt to change the way people see him as just a sporty guy and to find a girlfriend, Oz decides to join the school's jazz choir. Initially, he is teased harshly by his friends and the other choir members, but he eventually catches the eye of Heather, a choir singer who also faces unfair judgment. She quickly invites him to prom, but changes her mind when she sees Stifler and his friends making fun of her and assumes Oz is involved. To regain her trust, Oz volunteers to sing with Heather and proves he's not like the others. He succeeds when she finds him rehearsing alone in the theater and visits him at the sandwich bar, where he works to make amends. Their relationship faces another challenge when Oz realizes his last lacrosse game clashes with the choir competition, but he decides to leave the game and rush to the music hall just in time. He performs a long-awaited duet with Heather, receiving enthusiastic applause from the audience, including Kevin and Jim. After Oz compares third base to like warm apple pie, Jim, out of curiosity, attempts to pleasure himself with a freshly baked apple pie left on the table by his mother. His father catches him in the act, leaving him shocked and disappointed. In a stroke of luck, Nadia asks Jim to study with her at his house after ballet practice. Stifler encourages Jim to set up a webcam to watch Nadia change over the internet. When Nadia arrives, Jim sets up the webcam and goes to Kevin's house. To everyone's surprise, Nadia discovers Jim's porn collection and starts praising herself on his bed, causing a wild reaction from Stifler, Kevin, Finch, and Stifler's brother Matt. Kevin and Finch force Jim to go back and seduce her while the moment lasts, which ends with Nadia forcing Jim to strip and dance for her while she reads his pornography. By now, various groups of East Great Falls seniors, including members of Blink-182, are watching the live action in excited anticipation as Sherman reveals that Jim accidentally addressed the webcam link to everybody in the entire school directory. Nadia then seduces Jim and sits him down next to her on the bed, but unfortunately, he prematurely ejaculates. disappointing Nadia and completely grossing out his live web audience. A desperate Jim pleads for Nadia not to go and wince her around, but when Nadia takes her pants off, he involuntarily ejaculates again upon touching her. Nadia swiftly exits, leaving Jim a nervous wreck. The next day, Jim has become the laughingstock of the entire high school and is left despondent and depressed, especially upon hearing that Nadia has been immediately sent back home to Czechoslovakia by her sponsors after the incident. However, he senses luck when unpopular band geek Michelle Flaherty randomly begins to talk to him. Upon revealing she knows nothing about the webcam incident, he seizes the opportunity to ask her out to the prom with him, which she gleefully accepts. Finch at first appears to have no plan, but Kevin's suspicions arise when corroborative rumors begin flying around the school that Finch has legendary sexual prowess, has had relations with older women, and that he even knocked out Stifler in a fight. Kevin investigates and discovers that Finch paid Jessica $200 to spread the rumors under the pretense of truth. Finch quickly becomes the most talked about and most awe-inspiring senior in the whole school, with hordes of girls desperate to go to the prom with him. However, Stifler, angry about the rumors against him, spikes Finch's mochaccino with laxatives and promptly dupes him into using the girls' restroom, where Finch suffers explosive diarrhea in the presence of several senior girls. Afterwards, he emerges to a torrent of mockery, laughter, and abuse from a hysterical crowd of seniors, with Stifler at the helm, and is left humiliated, broken, and completely dateless. The prom night finally comes around. Finch is the only one of the four who attends alone, but Jessica, also alone and feeling guilty for taking his money, offers to dance with him, even giving him a brand new hip flask as a gift for his troubles. The prom itself is cheap, tacky, uneventful, and derided by most of the students, but cocky bragging Kevin sees it as a good time to query his friends for a status check on their pact. Oz and Finch are disinterested, and a burnt-out Jim lets loose and rages at Kevin for causing all the pressure, insisting that intercourse isn't at all as important as they previously made out. The outburst shatters Kevin's bravado and makes him wonder whether things will truly go as planned between him and Vicky. However, their spirits are all collectively lifted when Chuck Sherman's partner at the prom gets up onto the stage and announces in front of everybody that Chuck is a liar and is actually still a virgin. Chuck wets himself in embarrassment, and the four boys excitedly catch the bus to Stifler's huge post-prom party at his mansion on Lake Michigan. As the party begins to gain traction, the four boys all individually fulfill their pact with almost no conscious effort. Kevin and Vicky go to an upstairs bedroom where they finally have intercourse for the first time, but their desires for perfection and timing cause the interaction to become rigid and awkward throughout. While walking along the lakeside, an emotional Oz confesses the pact to Heather, who becomes wary, but he renounces the pact and declares that he's already won just by being with her at the prom. They passionately embrace each other at the dockside, naturally and fluidly moving into their first sexual experience. Meanwhile, Jim is snoozing through Michelle's immature Bandcamp stories, but chokes on his drink when she reveals she knows more about orgasms than she's letting on. Michelle leads him upstairs, where she reveals she actually knew all along about the webcam incident, only accepting Jim's date because he was a sure thing. Jim finally gets to have disaster-free quality time, but Michelle is dominant and violently aggressive, shouting abuse at Jim, roughing him up, and smashing things up with her hands and feet out of sheer passion. Finally, a bored Finch wanders around restricted areas of the house and bumps into Stifler's mom, whose aura and natural beauty take him aback. After some sophisticated upper-class conversation and flirting, she becomes aroused by Finch's precociousness, and they proceed to make love on the snooker table as the party goes on through the night. Dawn breaks early the next morning over Stifler's mansion, which is littered with sleeping seniors. Oz watches the sun rise with a smile as Heather snuggles into his lap at the lakeside, the couple looking extremely content. Kevin and Vicky are also awake, but both are contemplative and neither seem happy. Vicky amicably breaks up with Kevin, citing their separation due to their choice of university and the physical distance it causes, a topic she discussed earlier with Jessica. Kevin is left saddened, but he accepts Vicky's reasoning. Meanwhile, Jim wakes up and goes to cuddle Michelle in bed, only to find himself hugging an inflatable toy shark with no Michelle in sight. He quickly realizes Michelle used and abused him for a sordid one-night stand, but is left brimming with happiness at how cool the prospect of being used is. Finally, Finch is asleep with Stifler's mom when a hungover Stifler enters the room. He is so shocked at the sight that he collapses and passes out. Later on, Kevin, Oz, Jim, and Finch all go to their favorite hangout restaurant, the fittingly named Dog Years, for breakfast. Far from celebrating their pact with stories, they all remain very conservative and hushed about their experiences the night before, with Oz gleefully refusing to even confirm whether he had made love or not. Regardless, the four lads are now collectively happier than they ever were before, and once again toast each other to the next step as they prepare to leave high school and move away to university. The film ends with Jim setting up his webcam in his room once again, and stripping and dancing to country music. Nadia is on the other end, back in her home country, smiling and laughing at Jim. His father walks in on the act but sees the funny side. He walks out and starts dancing down the corridor, presumably to make love to his wife. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our recap. Like the video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.